Hi everyone, Lazy Fire here. Welcome back to the Hate the Player podcast. We missed a week. Well, okay. Let me backtrack a step here. Arnold never sent me his sound file. He was
Oh,
busy. He was busy.
oh
We're
shit!
not.
I should probably send that to you, huh?
Nah,
Yeah,
don't do
send
it
it right
now
now.
because this is now
Go
episode
ahead and send it.
52. Go ahead and overwrite whatever you saved last week. We have a new number. Actually, no, it was 2 weeks ago because I hosted Easter last week and I was not in the mood to fucking have any sort of conversations whatsoever after
And
that.
I was unable to have conversations.
Yeah, God, Three Toes missed a few weeks because of allergy issues.
My baby.
Oh man.
No, last week I literally could not talk. I was nothing but whispers for an entire weekend. Like pollen took my voice completely.
No, allergy season, man. I'm not looking forward to it. It's starting to hit up here. My eyes are starting to water no matter what I do.
See, and it's almost over down here. We always get it super early, and then by late April, early May, it's usually done.
See, up here, I am popping allergy pills every morning from basically the middle of April up through November. Like when everything has died is when I can finally stop taking allergy
Dude,
pills daily.
I know your dick's allergic to poontang, but that doesn't mean Viagra is allergy medication.
Hi-yo. They're blue pills. They work the same.
Yeah, exactly. No, my pain medications are all blue pills, so I just mix everything together. It's like a pharma party of one. So-
All right, Drekkins.
Yep.
Oh, that's a name we haven't heard in a long time. So yeah, we've all been missing things and not able to do stuff, and obviously the 10 people who listen to this thing suffered for it.
Yeah.
Our tens of listeners. But have you guys been doing anything interesting? Seen anything interesting? Three Toes, last time we talked, you were playing The Escapist still, and kind of
Yeah,
getting your head around that idea.
yeah. Still playing it here and there when I have time. I mean, it's fun. Probably the most exciting part that I've stumbled across now, which I didn't realize why I didn't notice this immediately off the bat. There's a prison editor, so you can make your own prison and send it to people and have fun shit. So I'm gonna try and fire that up in the next week or so and see if I can't just make an ungodly difficult prison for someone to try and break out of.
That's actually really neat. I
Maybe
like
see if
that.
I can construct the rock.
I really like the idea of. And I think I talked about it last time we actually had this conversation, but or no, actually it was the Shadow of Mordor thing. But like having this sort of not multiplayer, but sort of a users bouncing things off of each other in different
Like a
ways.
collaborative environment.
A collaborative to competitive environment. Like, I'm going to build this prison for you to go through, and I want, I mean, it's been around for years with like custom maps and everything like that.
Right.
But a lot more games now are like offering this way for players to, go on. Here's a server. Go put this server or this thing together and do these things that you're not quite playing multiplayer, but you're trying to test people's limits. It's a really neat idea, and I'm glad that more companies are really latching on to it because it does give games a lot more content than they can really just effectively do themselves.
Yeah. It's there aren't that many opportunities to do that anymore in modern games, and it's kind of fallen on the whole indie crowd to kind of be an outlet for that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, with Counter Strike, yeah, there were some god awful maps that came out of that
FY
community.
Ice World.
Oh, Op Map, yeah, Ice World, all the quote unquote surfing maps. I don't know if y'all ever played those.
Oh yeah, those are terrible.
But I mean, a lot of the maps that ultimately ended up in the retail version of Counter Strike were from the community.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Counter Strike itself was a community.
Well, yeah,
creation, blah, blah,
but
blah.
I mean,
We get
aside
to
from the
this
maps
every
that
2
came
weeks.
from the developers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that, and think of Unreal Tournament 4 is it's just going to be fucking an engine and a bunch of map creation tools, and it's going to rely on people to build maps and everything. I mean, that's just a really neat idea.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's also going to make the game incredibly cheap, and Unreal Engine is going to be free to use if you're a developer. Blah blah blah. I mean, there's a lot of that going on. I think the indie scene has become such a thing now that people are like catering to that crowd of here, you're going to be able to do it yourself. There's going to be so many fucking horrible games in the next few years. Holy shit. Like people who barely understand the concept of video games. Like, I wanted to make Dark Souls, but with the James Bond flair. So, and fucking,
It's
gonna be
literally called Bond Souls.
yeah.
Hmm.
You rest at martini bars. Fucking God.
That'd be my big concern. Not so much that, I mean, terrible content's a given. We all know
Right.
that anytime you make something that open, you're going to have a lot of bad content. But in a way, that's kind of necessary to get to the good content, or it
Yeah.
helps distinguish the good content.
Right, you're gonna
My
have to go through the dreck.
Yeah, my question is, and this is me being completely ignorant of developers' kits, blah blah blah. You're giving them this powerful tool that is going to be this Unreal 4 engine or whatever. Like how easy is it going to be for them to like not just make use of that, but to like optimize it to where I don't know. I'm
The
trying to think of how I can
average.
put this. Like to where you won't need the absolute most monster system available in order to run these games when you wouldn't necessarily need to have to. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm explaining that
I no,
correctly.
I get what you're saying. Basically, every game that comes out, even if it uses like Unreal 3 engine or something like that, it has a bunch of modifications to the engine that make it so you can actually run it on a console or run it on this thing or that thing. And I think what you're asking is what chances are there for optimization of the engine for a bunch of people who are kind of do-it-yourselfers, like
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
and like Hotline Miami was made in Game Maker, you know, like it doesn't have to be bad, but for something like Unreal 4, I'm gonna guess that like most games are gonna be horribly, horribly optimized. There are Unreal 3 games that come out now that are horribly optimized, made by major studios, though.
Yeah.
Frostbite engine games are all horribly optimized.
And so we'll
So,
see. My big concern is somebody may come up with a great idea, concept for a game that looks like it should be actually really fun, but no one can fucking play it because it won't run on anything,
right. Yeah, I'm sure that will happen. I
or
mean,
just runs piss poorly, and they don't have the time or the resources to do bug fixes and whatnot. So
well,
yeah, it's great that they're opening this stuff up to amateur developers and whatnot, but still, like you pretty much need a studio almost to come out with something that's going to be a good game.
I mean, let's look at Dark Souls for the PC, where somebody fixed that shit up within a few hours of it coming out with just like a couple of text file changes. Uh, you know, seriously, all I did when I put Dark Souls on my PC was I opened up this thing, I loaded in a couple of text files, like copy paste some shit, and it was like, okay, we changed all the data. And you go in and it's in 1080p. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Uh,
I guess you put enough raging autists on a problem and it'll get solved.
no, this guy, the guy who did it, it's called the DS fix. He did it within hours of the game coming out because he had it all prepped because he knew what was going to be the situation. He knew in advance what it was going to be. That's how badly optimized that game was.
Jesus.
But I don't know. It's a good question. I think a lot of the answer that you're going to hear, or a lot of answers you're going to hear, are the community will fix it. Because if somebody comes up with this really cool game concept, and other people get their hands on it, and they can go in and like mess with it and change things around, I think that somebody in the community will like get together and put something that's going to be pretty amazing together out of this idea. I think really having one dude do everything is going to be an interesting idea in the future as well. Just to see where they go with it, and one person's vision is just it's like I fundamentally do not trust the video game like community, the people who play games, to come up with a good game. I do not trust them
No.
because there's
No.
a
Look
wide
at Daisy.
difference.
Daisy.
Yeah. I was gonna talk to you about that when we were talking about mods there for a second, but we're gonna.
Can we
you
not?
Oh, you've been playing Epoch, right?
Oh, yeah. Epoch's way better.
All right, we'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, the issue is I don't trust them because honestly, there is a huge difference between being a consumer and being a producer. Like, you might know what you like in a game. That does not mean it's going to appeal to everyone, or your very specific ideas are going to be the right ideas. And people get so hung up on their ideas and the purity of their vision that they are just going to get sidetracked and start doing stupid shit. It's the same thing. Every game that comes out is a compromise between a lot of different people on that design staff. And that's probably why you have some games that are super popular and other games that are not so popular because certain personalities are going to win out. Like the whole debate behind Homefront and all that other stuff. Like there was all this tension and disorganization within the studio, and because of that, a game that could have been fairly popular and maybe even good uh, turned out pretty bad. But yeah, that's my rant against people who play video games today. Uh, Arnold, you've been playing Epoch for DayZ. It's a mod to Arma 3, right? Or,
Yes.
God, you've been playing Epoch for DayZ. You've been playing Epoch instead of DayZ.
Yeah, because Daisy is bad, and if you've listened to this podcast at all, you know the wonderful history of Daisy being bad at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
It's pretty intensely bad. God.
So what's Epoch?
Just mentioning it. Epoch is basically Daisy minus the zombies, plus missions that spawn kind of randomly with a bunch of PvP, more loot, trading system, base building. It's basically everything DayZ should have been. Like, it has light survival elements in that you have to eat, you have to drink, but there are no conditions on weapons, meaning if you look at somebody funny, all their gear isn't ruined. So you can murder the fuck out of somebody and then go put on the clothes that they were wearing, and now you have the whatever they were wearing. I mean, which is why DayZ mod for Armor 2 was good. I mean, it didn't go too far like DayZ did. So it's good. It's everything DayZ should have been.
Yeah.
There are vehicles, more than one. There's plenty of them. Bunch of choppers, bunch of guns, bunch of ammo types. Like I said, loot. The loot system I think is actually way better. In DayZ, loot would just randomly spawn in buildings throughout the map, on the ground, whatever. In this, it spawns each building, I guess, has a chance to have a loot container or a few loot containers in it, which can be like a bed or a sofa or a dresser drawers, stuff like that. And you go up and you hit search on it, and it'll spawn loot. So I guess it kind of makes people who cheat, which, by the way, I haven't really seen any obvious cheaters yet, which, reminder, DayZ, I'm hard-pressed to go more than half an hour without getting cheated or hacked on or whatever fuck you want to call that.
Hacked upon.
Yeah, hacked upon.
There are hacktivists in my head.
And when I say
Help, I've
hacking,
been hacked upon.
I don't mean ESP, which ESP labels
a hacked.
items. It lets you know where players are, stuff like that. I'm not talking that. I'm talking somebody who can literally make you put down your gun and walk up to you and shoot you or teleport to you, shoot you in the head with impunity. And oh yeah, there are no admin tools. You can't ban. There are no kill logs. You can't see which asshole rolled around and killed everybody. Oh, the whole server died. Oh, I wonder who did it. I don't know. If only there was technology from 1995 to help us. Yeah. Like I said, that's yeah, exactly. That's the biggest, or one of the biggest complaints with DayZ is that all the problems it has are so easy to fix. So easy to fix. Okay, you can't fix the hacking? Okay, then make it so admins can get the fuck rid of people who cheat.
Yeah.
You know? Like, god damn it. But anyway, I haven't seen much cheating in Epoch. It's a different map. It's, I think, a much better map that isn't so samey. the Chernerus, which is the name of the map in DayZ, it's really foresty and very samey. Lots of mountains and hills with so many fucking trees. This is way more open. There's variety. There's a couple square kilometer salt plains, which are actually pretty neat. It's just flat and it's salt, but it looks different. There's a desert area, forest. I mean, it's like I said, not samey.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it.
And you're feeling a lot better about this, not only because of the lack of hacking, but because, like, it sounds like it's just meant to be a bit more player friendly while still being an Arma game at heart.
Oh yeah. If you die, you still lose all your shit, but you can stash shit to make it easier to get shit. So it's dying, still pain in the balls, huge pain in the balls,
Of course.
but not as dreadfully a huge pain in the balls as it was, which I think is a good compromise.
Yeah, right. That's sometimes it's nice not to have a huge problem when you die.
Yeah. I mean, you don't now. Granted, the beautiful thing in the beginning of DayZ, when DayZ was new, and the spawns were all on the East Coast, so there were a few cities where you would see a ton of people coming through. The good thing about DayZ is you could really fuck with people a lot more. You could feed them things. You could feed them bleach and watch them die.
Right.
You could give them a blood transfusion roulette because blood types are a thing. If you get the wrong blood type, your ass is dead. So we would just get a puppy and be like, hey, don't move her, we're going to shoot you. And what's funny to me, and I think it might actually be an interesting like psychological study. Well, actually, no, not even that. It's just people want to have fun, and interactions with players, even if they're fucking with you, that's fun. Even for the Bleach E, it's fun. So we would get maybe 5 or 6 people. We'd catch a puppy, and say, "Hey, here's a blood bag, and we're gonna give it to you, and you'll live or you won't. Except even if you live, I think we maybe let one person ever go, ever."
Oh, come on, man! If they beat the odds, you should let them go.
Yeah, that's
Well, welcome to the real world. So there was that. Every once in a while, we'd catch 2 puppies and make them fight to the death while using our
Hand on a pointed stick.
Oh yeah, no.
much.
It's on YouTube. I think we called it Thunderdome.
yeah. I remember that video.
And
That's really great.
and you had a hacked M4. You had a hacked M4 with infinite ammo, which if you killed a hacker, you could get one, and it was great. And you could duplicate them, and it was fantastic. And we went for infinite ammo forever. But see, the thing is, that wasn't so bad a hack. I mean, that was okay, because, really, it just took the grinding out of the game.
Yeah.
It didn't give you a huge advantage. If one person being really accurate would still beat the shit out of somebody going, "Ah!" which I did a lot.
Of course.
Because,
you did.
hey, probability says one of those bullets down range are going to hit you.
Yeah, this is why you don't like Counter-Strike.
Exactly.
If I don't go full auto on him, I can't hit him.
Right. But it was it was really fun in the beginning, and like I said, it just took a bad turn. So,
Yeah.
but
It
that's
sound-
the one thing that DayZ does better. There were much better player interactions, and you could poison your friends too, which was fun. And they'd be like, "Oh, who fed me the rotten fruit? I'm dying."
Well, I think that's the trade-off you sometimes have to make. Is like, here's a game that's going to work. Do you want it to work, or do you want it to have all this random bullshit in it that you can do? You know, like, it sounds like DayZ got just too big, and there's no system management that someone's coming in and being like, this is kind of bullshit, we should probably fix this. Whereas Epoch is keeping it kind of simple, you know?
Yeah. It basically takes the, like, oh, your balls are wet, your balls are hot, your balls are wet, your balls are hot, your balls are wet, your balls are soaking, your balls are burning up.
Now we should mention that these are actual fucking status messages.
Yeah, except
in
it doesn't say balls. It says like, oh, I'm hot. Oh, I'm very hot. Oh, I'm hungry. Like, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Apparently, you're Rain Man.
Yeah.
Gotta get home for
Hot,
Wildfire.
definitely hot.
So, yeah, that I don't know. It sounds like that's a lot more fun in a lot of ways than what DayZ was becoming, which was a reality simulator, and a not
But the
fun
thing
one
is,
at that.
reality is not fun. I mean, wow, that was pretty dark.
Yeah, that's pretty mean.
No, I mean, when you're playing a game, you don't want to. Oh, hey, if I want to go from the Florida to Washington State, that's going to be a 2-day drive. I want to have a 48-hour real-time drive because
Right.
realism.
Desert Bus. I'm just thinking of like the games that have come out in the last few months that are like a tabletop simulator, for example, where it's a fucking you have a tabletop in front of you. They put an iPad in it, and so you can get on the iPad on the tabletop simulator and go browse the internet on your tabletop simulator game.
Holy shit, how
Yeah,
meta.
yeah, and it actually fucking works. It's not like here are some fake websites you can go to. So yeah, these are the level of like simulator games. But Daisy sounds like you're gonna eventually have to get like a 9 to 5 job in it. Just to, it's like, God damn it, I don't want to work at this warehouse anymore. But the airfield isn't hiring. Like,
Just put out a Sims expansion pack to where you can like shoot people,
yeah.
and that's
Oh,
all you need.
they'll call it the Castle Law.
uh, uh,
So that got dark fast. I got a new game, believe
Yeah.
it or not. It's called Running with Rifles. It is a. It
I
is
saw
not
an
a,
ad for it on Steam.
yeah, it just came out. It was an early access game, and then it got a full release recently. It's all right. So you know how Nuclear Throne is like a top-down shooter that's 2D. This is a 3D top-down shooter. Like it's hard to describe, but you know how you have your topographical maps? They've got the contour lines indicating like height differences.
Hmm.
Okay, this when you walk over the land in that in Running with Rifles, it actually has those fucking contour lines, and you can see like I'm above this person, I'm below this person. This is a hill, this is an incline, or something like that. It's actually kind of neat, and so it's you're basically an army man in an army that is attacking another army, trying to take points. So it's kind of like Battlefield, but everyone in the game is AI but you, and there's some vehicles that'll pop on occasionally, and you're meant to die literally hundreds of times. Like you're not like one dude, and if you die, you have to restart or something like that, or whatever. You respawn, you go after the point until everyone has all the points, or one team has all the points. Uh, it's actually a lot of fun. The vehicles control really weirdly. So, for example, unlike Battlefield, you don't when you're driving a tank, you don't control the gun. You have to have the AI control the gun, or you can control the gun and the AI will move places for you, uh, which doesn't always work, either one of those arrangements.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff about like buildings. So you'll fight enemies who are on these buildings, and they're almost impossible to dislodge out of certain locations because of the height differences. So it's kind of interesting. I held like a building for a good 6 minutes. Most buildings have ladders in the game. Just by hanging out on top of the roof and aiming at the ladder. Like people couldn't get to where I was and couldn't throw grenades to me. So all I had to do was shoot anyone who came up the ladder. But it's actually a really fun game. It takes a little getting used to the way it controls and the fact that you will die to fucking random ass shots from like 10 miles away by dudes you didn't know existed. But like Battlefield. But a lot of fun. Just wanted to throw that out there, and of course I'm still playing Hardline. So, not a lot. I mean, I've had more time to play games recently than I'd like to admit, and I just keep going like, well, wife's not going to be home for another 3 hours, and dinner's already done. Guess I'm going to play Hardline for a while, and I'll get in there and like get run over by somebody on a couch, and it'll be a whole thing, and whatever. Because there's a drivable couch in Hardline.
Yeah, the what's it called? The American Dream or something?
Yeah, the American Dream. Dude's just driving around 3 people on a couch, just like cruising. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Can you put an ammo box on it? And
I wish I really hope you can jihad. Yeah, jihading doesn't really work that well in that game because there's no well one there's no tanks, but two there's no jeeps. Uh, so the counterattack truck, which is basically a fucking tank, that thing's pretty rugged. But I should tell you, Chrono Jam, our resident anti-personnel officer, if you want to call him that, he is way more vulnerable in this game. Like I've seen him go down more times in this game when he's driving around his autist mobile than I saw him die in the entirety of Battlefield 4. Like you know those games where he'd go like 63 and 2 or something like that. Those games have turned into like 15 and 4. Like
Huh.
he can still put up huge numbers, but he still die. The vehicles aren't like the insane, overpowered force multipliers they are, even though no one carries rockets by default as a class.
Hmm.
Like you have to go pick them up. It's actually kind of nice to have that because, I mean, the cat and the armored SUV are still fucking terrifying, and you can go on huge streaks if people don't take you down. But my God, it's so much easier this time around.
Hmm.
So, just a thought. It's very much an infantry-focused game in a lot of ways. Infantry and people leaning out windows firing RPGs at each other as they drive away with money. It's fun. Um, but one thing I kind of want to talk about YouTube-wise, there was a change to the company policy, and I haven't read it yet, but I got an email about it, basically saying, "Hey, we're going to allow people to subscribe to YouTube now, and like they pay $10 and they don't get ads for 3 months, and we split that revenue with you if they subscribe, and you have to agree to it. Like you do not get to say, no, I think I'd rather just get the revenue from the ads. You have to say yes. If people subscribe, I will get my share of your $10 for the 3 months.
What? It's $10 for 3 months?
Well, Twitch does $5 subscription for 3 months, so I guess YouTube's just gonna pump that up a little bit. But yeah, it's something ridiculous, and it's just like 3 months of no ads. And it's like, are you? What the fuck? Have you never heard of ad blocker?
How would they even split that up?
The same way they split up. It's not like you pay a general subscription fee to YouTube, from what I understand. It's like you're paying a subscription fee to specific users. Like, I really like Goku Weed Lord 14 here. I'm gonna pay Goku Weed Lord 14 $10, or well, I'm gonna pay Google $10, so I don't have to see ads when I go to his videos anymore.
Hmm.
And then Google will give Goku Weed Lord 14, like what I think it's like 40 to 55% of that revenue, and
Wow, that's
it will keep the rest of
kind.
it. Yeah. Well, that's what they do. It's the same percentage share as the ad revenue now.
Ah,
But I'm gonna make this case again, and I've made it before multiple times. You probably shouldn't be making a living by playing games for fucking YouTube.
No.
Just a heads up.
but oh,
I put all this time into these things. I, don't edit them at all, and I just kind of play video games for hours on end, and put
Hey,
the results up.
You know what I do when I don't want to see ads?
Use ad
masturbate?
blocker. Like
Yep.
it's not
Turn on ad block.
1983. God damn. People. But people will do it. People will subscribe. Darkside Phil, the well-known shitlord that he is, will, if he finds out people are using ad block, will ban people from his Twitch chat and stream and everything like that. Like, people are desperate. These people who watch people play video games on YouTube may not make the best decisions in life all the time.
really?
And I say that as somebody who fucking plays video games for YouTube and currently
There's
has
a
a
lot
thread.
there's a lot of self-hate there.
I know, but like, I'm going to stress that there is a difference between someone who's doing it as one person will put it, a pseudo hobby. I fucking hate that term. And a person who's like, I'm going to make a living from this, and all this other crap like that some people engage in at this point. It's like there is a difference between that. I would, if I found out someone subscribed to me on YouTube, I would fucking try to return that money. Like, I don't want your money. I don't want anything to do with this. Just fucking use ad block or just like, well, actually, none of my videos have ads on them. So what the fuck are you gonna do? How are you gonna subscribe to me? Like, how, you're literally throwing money away at that point. Um, Actually, no, that's not true because some of my videos do have ads on them from like when I was trying that experiment, but no money was ever made from it, and there's no good way to go through and like disable all the ads at once, which kind of sucks. Uh, so that was like one of the big changes. We're still seeing how that's going to unfold. Uh, the Angry Joe Show guy, he has decided that he will no longer cover Nintendo games because of their policy of taking all of the YouTube person's money and then making them only Nintendo game. Nintendo released this really weird set of rules for people doing Let's Plays of their games, where if you do Let's Plays of Nintendo games, you are only allowed to post Nintendo games on your channel, and Nintendo will like directly be taking your revenue and parcel you out some. Like, it's fucking regressive and weird, but people are now absorbing that loss too. But Angry Joe decided that he wasn't going to have that shit because he's angry and a reviewer, and has decided no more Nintendo game coverage because people were really hoping to hear more about Smash Brothers Brawl or whatever the fuck in the year of our Lord 2015. So yeah. Oh, also Mindcrack is like breaking apart. I don't know if you knew that through.
Yeah, I heard about that.
What happened?
So Mindcrack is a collection of YouTubers who play Minecraft on YouTube.
On like a shared server.
Yeah, it's a shared server, and the owner of that server has this guy Good has decided that it's going to be a bit more organized and corporate in the future, as one person put it, and they're going to start requiring people to go to like conventions and stuff and make appearances there, and like they're going to start organizing it a bit more like an actual fucking business instead of a bunch of jackasses goofing off, which is exactly what it is. And some of the people who were on there were not really happy with that decision. And
i.e., like the most popular key members.
yeah, the one guy who, one of the people who really fucking didn't need the Mindcrack thing to get popular or be popular, has left Etho's lab. He departed. But other people who had been there a while, BOO I thought was gone too.
Yep, he's gone. Generic B's gone. I want to say Pyro's gone, but I'm not sure about that.
So they just jettisoned a lot of people who were, well, I'd never heard the full story, but I was watching my niece and nephew the other day, and my nephew is obsessed with Minecraft, and at Easter my wife showed him Etho for a little while, so he shut the fuck up. And so when he came over, he wanted to watch Etho. He's like, Etho. So 5 fucking hours later, get to the last fucking Etho video that I can stomach. And I'm reading a book, actually. And he mentions that, like, this is back in December. That's like, I'm not really doing ultra hardcore. No one's inviting me to events on the server. So this has probably been coming for a long time. So it was just announced recently. So I think this has probably been a process, and there are probably like some backroom negotiations and everything like that. But when Etho started showing up on a different server, I think that was the moment where people were like, "Oh boy, what's that about?" So, yeah, who knows? Overall, nothing like earth-shattering, but Mindcrack has been fucking a goldmine of drama since it started because there's so many like different people there, and they've got their own fan bases, and they hate each other because like back in UHC Season 2, this guy killed Etho, and that's not allowed, so we have like fucking shut up, you
well, and a lot of
them
had like really different play styles too. You had guys who would, part of them would like just flatten an entire area and build stuff like it was a creative world, which, why not just go play in a creative world? You got other people who actually want to build stuff into the terrain and want to do like just cool buildings. You've got other people who just want to do crazy ass redstone shit. Like, I don't know how that thing managed to stay afloat for as long as it did. Anyway,
Probably just because there were certain people who were like, "This has to work. This is the only way I'm
So
popular."
would you say that there were certain people, the content creators, that perhaps kept the less productive members of society afloat of the Mindcrack?
And they had to get huge tax breaks too, because otherwise they wouldn't create so much content.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. It was, they definitely like went out and grabbed a bunch of people who were very popular later on. So I remember when they got like Seth Bling onto the server and a few other
Vex
people.
and a few other people.
Yeah, they were well-known people who were like, okay, guess what? You're now a Mindcracker. I don't understand, if you're popular, what you got out of being on that server besides having another video series of Minecraft, which, by the way, in the year of our Lord 2015, a little overplayed. You might want to slow down on that.
Yeah.
Do you really need 3 Minecraft videos a week? No. You probably explored most of the content 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Horse armor. Fucking no one cared when it was in Oblivion either. Goddamn.
Wait, what? That's a thing?
There was Oblivion's first DLC was horse armor, Arnold.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, no, I'm talking about Minecraft.
Yes, Minecraft.
Oh yeah,
was
that's
horse armor
old as
and you could
shit.
enchant it.
Now that's over a year old.
Yeah. That's been around for a while, man.
And that's the thing with more and more updates that have been coming for Minecraft have just been met with less and less hype. Like
Yeah.
I really think that people outside of the 12-year-old age range are really stopping caring about Minecraft.
You know what that means? Minecraft 2.
Oh
Boom.
god.
But, my nephew's 7. He's fucking obsessed.
Yeah.
It's the right age for it. I played a fair share of Minecraft, and then I said, oh wait, this isn't really fun anymore. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Alright, but we've kind of hit the end of our time here. As much as I'd like to rag on Minecraft, next week we should have something to talk about for Call of Duty, though, because we know we like to talk about that here. Because they just announced Black Ops 3 is coming
Oh
out.
fuck, really?
Yeah, guess what? It's another year. There's another Call of Duty game coming out, and Treyarch's in the rotation. Black Ops 3, motherfucker. Get ready for Ghosts 2 next November, and the year after that, you can be ready for Advanced Warfare 2. Do I really need to make a chart? I could make you a chart that goes out like the fucking Star Wars movies to 2019 of which game's going to come out when. I can probably give you a pretty good idea of which date if you go by history, because it's fucking clockwork.
Really, really hope the subtitle is Black Ops 3 out of options. 'Cause they were literally out of options for games to make.
Well, Activision, as I've mentioned before, has put all their eggs in one in like 3 very separate baskets, and just like continues to suck at doing anything with anything else.
Anyway, yeah, let's discuss that next time.
Next week. Next week.
What was that?
I try to say next week and time at the same time. Didn't come out right. Who'd have thought? Okay, well, any last words, guys?
Words. Born
Roll
ready.
Tide?
Roll Tide.